been 12 years since Street Fighter III, the last numbered Street Fighter game, and despite the many crossovers and spin-offs that have appeared in the last decade, fighting fans have been clamoring for a true sequel to the greatest fighting franchise in gaming. Capcom has finally released Street Fighter IV, but with all the hype surrounding it, can a 2D fighter deliver in a 3D world? Street Fighter IV is something of a mashup of the entire Street Fighter II catalog, but gets most of its inspiration from Super Street Fighter II Turbo. By utilizing the movesets we're all familiar with, the game maintains a classic feel that's both faithful to the series and extremely responsive. The 4 new characters offer a wide variety of fighting styles, but all of them feel at home in the Street Fighter universe. The only character that doesn't feel balanced is Seth, the game's final boss. Seth utilizes some of the cheapest attacks and techniques ever seen in a fighting game, making him extremely frustrating to beat. This is compounded by the fact that the character isn't terribly interesting or well designed, and that you'll need to beat him multiple times to unlock the game's 13 hidden characters. Street Fighter IV may be the slickest looking and sounding fighter of this generation. In moving from 2D to 3D, the game hasn't lost a bit of its Street Fighter essence, and its cartoony watercolor look serves to enhance the iconic status of the game's characters and settings. Incredible particle and fire effects highlight the action, with spectacular explosions of color and sound illustrating the power of the World Warrior's moves. The game sounds great as well, with fitting sound effects and some excellent in-game voice work.
Time to run home now, little Miss Policewoman.
There's even an option to change each character's spoken language on an individual basis. While there aren't a ton of different game modes, the ones that are there are well implemented. There's the standard versus mode along with some challenge modes that will keep you coming back for more, but most gamers will spend the majority of their time in multiplayer matches. Whether ranked or unranked, the action is always smooth and lag-free, even when connected to gamers with less than perfect internet connections. It can, however, be difficult to find a match online, a problem that will hopefully be fixed by Capcom soon. Perhaps the most interesting mode, ironically, is the traditional arcade mode. Street Fighter IV does its best to emulate the arcade experience by allowing online players to challenge you during your arcade mode.
Now, fight your rival!
Think of it as the modern equivalent of throwing your quarters up on the machine and calling next. Sure, Seth is annoying. In fact, he's beyond that. He's infuriating. There are also some overly long load times, and the game does have a slight tendency to freeze between matches. All that said, it's still an astonishing fighting game that's simple enough for newcomers to enjoy, but deep enough to allow veteran players to spend hours exploring the game's intricacies. It's gorgeous, perfectly paced, and just plain fun. It also happens to be the best fighting game of this generation. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check Gamervision.com for the full text review.